I know where I was. I
Okay.
know where I was. And this is really important because this is something that, how do you stay in it when it's not only an unpleasant, uncomfortable, painful situation, but where you've also got one that is not necessarily working with you all the time.
Right.
Not that he did this every day, but it was still, this was like walking on glass for him. So,
Sure.
but what I would do when I felt like I didn't have any more to give, I would project forward, say, 3 to 5 years. And I would look at what I thought life might look like at that point. And I would see his non-ability at that point. And I would say to myself, now, are you going to be okay with that? And
that is
I
strength.
would then
Wow.
immediately say, absolutely not. I will never look over my shoulder and wonder, if only we had done this, if only we had done that, what would his life be like? What kind of function would he have? What kind of spirit would so that kept me right in it. It didn't matter what he was throwing at me. I couldn't live with myself if I had that regret. And so I was committed to not having regret.
That is such great parenting advice right there for people who are in the thick of it. For instance, me. But I mean, just with all of us. But I mean, I've got these 4 teenagers, and what a great. I mean, that's just such a great parallel to ask yourself, what is, if I continue on this path and allow my kids to throw shit at me, what's this going to look like next year, 3 years, 5 years? What is this going to look like to their future spouse, to everything about life? Laquita, that's huge. You have incredible innate intuition as a mother, regardless of your own shortcomings that you overcame. You were still able to get up and look at him and say, you can keep throwing it at me, bro. Keep it coming, because I'm still not going to take your BS.
Yeah. I tell him that sometimes. Come on. How hard do you need to hit? Because it just doesn't matter. If I'm the one, if that makes you feel better, go right ahead. Because, darling, I can take it.
That's so epic.
And then I would, end up just hugging him and saying, sweetheart, we can do this. That was the mantra. We can do this. Those 3 words were every bit as important as I love you.
Wow.
Yeah.
That just, as a mother, I'm sure it resonates with dads too, but because they're, in life, it's a good metaphor in life too. We get stuff thrown at us all the time, but it's our choice how we accept it. Right. And I think this is relevant to every single person listening. You, all 4 people who listen to our podcast. If you add my dad, 5, that just is so relatable to life. No matter what is thrown at you, you have no choice but to keep going. Go ahead, Shannon.
That's right. And see, I also had some revelations lying in the ditch.
Wow.
What am I going to do here? I mean, the bigger part of me at that time did not want to get up. I had too much to face. I had to face myself,
That's hard.
and everything that, oh my God, was that hard. I was so destroyed. I was so disappointed. I was, every adjective, in the negative is what I was throwing at myself at that time. And yet you make decisions.
Yeah.
And my decision was, when I heard the bus, my decision was, you get your ass up and you do, it's one foot in front of the other. And whatever it is, you just continue moving one step at a time without going too far. I think that that's another important thing in any kind of hard process is there's always dualities in life to me. One is, yes, project forward for a minute just to see if you're okay, what that picture might be. The second is, don't project too far on a daily basis because you're just talking about one foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
Getting through one thing to go into another. And it's actually much more loving and it's much more allowing of your own stumbles.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that's perfect. I mean, over the last year, I've kept telling myself, just keep moving forward. And like, I'm an avid runner, and every single step is just keep moving forward, one step at a time. Just like Aaron crossing the desert, one step at a time. But my question is, I know Aaron's sister plays an important role in his life, not just, the rainbow painting of his toenails, but how, as a mom, like I have 2 children, and when you focus so much on one child, you sort of worry, okay, what about the other one? I'm just sort of wondering how did she play into his recovery, and how did you sort of balance things so that she didn't feel neglected?
That's a great question, Shannon.
You know what? Nobody's actually asked that. And I have said forever, or since this all happened, the other sibling or siblings, and particularly in my case, because I was single, she was the actual silent casualty. And she, now her method of dealing was, she actually began dating a musician and got into, a drug scene, and completely went that way. And so I was in the middle of my 2 beloveds, with Aaron fighting for his life and Ariel actually doing everything to destroy hers. And the interesting thing with where she went, was that there was no amount of help I could give her. Because, when you're in that deal, you have to make those decisions yourself. And so, oh man, it was, to this day, I don't know how I would do it over. That's just the way our thing went. And my daughter had to go through, her own state of hell. It was almost like she was on a state of destruction, simultaneous to Aaron in just in different ways.
Self-inflicted ways, right?
Yes.
And that was her coping mechanism.
Our thing. That was our thing. So she was when she was at home with us, she was very engaged. She and Aaron grew up best friends. He was her hero, which was a big part of her problem. She could not, at 18 years old, her hero brother, who she thought could, who hung the moon, so to speak, was all of a sudden in that situation. She couldn't deal. She plain couldn't. And bless her sweetheart, she went off on her way to self-medicate. And no, we had a whole bunch of really painful years, but somehow or another, I was so committed to saying, this is not our life. This is not going to be the outcome of our life.
Your strength is amazing to me. Your strength is absolutely fibrously amazing. Because I can't say the F word.
Thank you. But you know what? When you're in that position, life gets very black and white. It really does. You have 2 choices. You either live or you don't. And to me, there was no place for gray area, because gray area meant you're going to settle somewhere, and that's not going to be okay either. So it was just that way, put on your boots and strap them up tight and do the work.
And is that still, do you still have days like that where you just, where you have to remind yourself of that?
No, not anymore.
No,
I'm finally in a brand new state of life. My daughter is now married. She's got 2 absolutely gorgeously beautiful sons. Matter of fact, that's a whole beautiful story in itself. The day that she decided, she actually was living up north in Northern California, and this was before she actually, met her husband and had children, but she came down for Christmas, and it was a white flag moment for her. She and I I mean, I knew what she was doing, and but I didn't know the real extent, after she got up north. I mean, I did successfully get her into rehabilitation on 2 different occasions, fighting, screaming, and all that. But she came down, and we were going to Target to go to do some Christmas shopping. And we got in the Target parking lot, and she all of a sudden just broke. Oh. And she said, the life I'm living, she said, all I want in this life is to be a mother. And if I continue living the life I live now, I will never be that mother. And we ended up sitting in that Target parking lot for 3 hours. We never even went in, but it was one of those.
Been there, done that.
It was so monumental, and we got somewhere with that. And for 3 hours, we sat out there and just talked and cried and loved and hugged and all of those things. And then because her commitment was so strong, she said, no, I'm either, here is her moment. I'm either not going to continue. I just can't keep living like this, because what I want requires me to show up differently. And I said, darling, now that you want to really show up differently, again, we will put everything in place that we have to in order to see that happen for you, as long as you do the work. Mm-hmm. You've got to be willing. I can assist and support you, but you are the one that has to do the work to get there. And she did. And so she is, her boys now are 6 and 4. They are absolutely glorious. Yeah. Aaron, as you know, is married. Mm-hmm. And so I now
love his wife.
That I couldn't have designed anyone better.
She's so cute. She's so cute.
It. And we have such a wonderful, wonderful relationship. But I live exactly in the middle. I'm 15 minutes from my daughter and 15 minutes from Aaron and Katie.
Oh,
and then
perfect.
About 10 minutes from the business. So no, life for me now is beginning to just really be, I can breathe.
Yeah.
I can really breathe, and I reflect. I reflect and just say, man, that was a really, really interesting life path put in front of me, and I feel successful. I mean, I'm not successful yet in that financial realm, but my successes, as I define them, are in my children and in what we endured and how we endured it, and then what we did with it.
Oh my God,
that's
you
awesome.
Endured hell.
I love, your definition of success. Everyone has a different definition. We tend to sort of think success only means financial, but it's not. It's
right.
It's anything but financial.
Raising kids who can, live their own lives. It's overcoming difficulties. I mean, Aaron's injury transformed your entire family, not just his life, but like everyone's life. And I'm just wondering, now that you have a chance to breathe, like, what does that feel like? Do you look back and think, oh, I would have done this differently? Or do you accept it as the journey that brought you here, and you're just going to keep moving forward?
Well, see, that's the part of projecting forward, back in the harder days.
Yeah.
Today, I sit here, I do not have one regret.
I love that.
I honest to God don't. I am in complete satisfaction. Now, did I make mistakes? Absolutely. But I embrace those mistakes because, we're human. That's going to happen. But I know with the resources I had, with everything that I did have to dedicate and employ in this journey, I did that. And so that's the success I feel is and see, that was the one component that I was so adamantly opposed to have to live with that regret, because you look back and you say, gosh darn, if only I had been strong enough, if only those if onlys are just horrid. And so I don't have that. I mean, even with my daughter, I think how could I have done it differently? And honest to God, I could not have done it differently.
No. So you used what you had. Yeah.
Yes. And so that's where the peace, the satisfaction, and, then the willingness to just keep on going forward without, a regret in your heart. Oh man, that's priceless to me.
And that's where your inner peace comes from, because you did the best you could with what you had at the time.
Yeah.
And you kept projecting forward, saying, this is where we need to be in a year, 2 years, 3 years. That's incredible. It makes me really reflect on one of those questions I was talking to you about a little bit before we went on the air. And I said, I asked this question of everybody. And if with your permission, I'd like to ask you this question. And I just want to say one word. And when I say, Shannon's laughing at me already, I see her smug little happy face. When I say this word, I want you to tell me just what comes to mind, what comes into your heart, your brain. And sometimes this word triggers people more lately on Twitter after a recent video was posted. But what is your feeling when I say the word watercress?
Watercress.
Yeah. Does that make you feel a particular way?
Watercress. Well, I feel movement. I feel color. I feel nature.
Bowel movement?
I feel,
Bowel movement?
No, but I felt, watercress. Those are, I think of, cellular dancing because it's the purity within that. So
I love that. I love that.
It's very nurturing. Watercress is very nurturing to me.
Have you eaten it though?
Oh yeah.
You like it?
I love it.
Oh my God. Shannon,
I did not.
two, wait, no.
Say that though. I did not pay Laquita to say that at all.
Wait, can we go to 1, 2, 3? We do our question. 1, 2, 3.
Do you even
watercress, bro?
We asked Aaron the same thing, and I forget his response, but it wasn't nearly as poetic as yours.
Laquita, I think that is the best response. I think you just earned a t-shirt. When we produce more, we're going to get your size and send you a Do You Even Watercress Bro t-shirt.
I love it. I love it.
That is the best answer. I recently on Twitter reviewed watercress live. And it didn't end well for anybody, including the watercress. I found it to be a nasty, vile thing. But thank you for playing along and humoring me. But so where do you find yourself today? You guys have the core center, and I guess from today in the next 5 to 10 years, where do you see you and Aaron and Katie? Where do you see everything going in terms of the center and what Aaron has been able to accomplish and the people who he's been able to help? Where do you see that all going? What's next? What's coming down the pike, if you will?
Oh, I just see us really we're in many ways, we're just beginning. We've laid a gorgeous foundation, a solid foundation, and now life is it's actually beginning to really open up, where we're going to have a little bit larger stage to share. We have always seen core as being very abundant, and not just a destination, and we're aligning with the proper entities to make that happen. So I just see us still always working hard. Now, for myself, I have recently, had someone come into my life that is just phenomenally extraordinary, and so I'm going to have that component of my life fulfilled.
Good.
And
I'm happy for you.
I want to give it about, I want to be at core and doing the work at about 50% instead of 150%.
Sure.
So I'm in that phase now. And my son and my daughter are the two most encouraging people for me with this, where I am and, this new union in my life, to say, oh, Mom, we've got this now. You know, this is, you've got to carve off some really, really, really good time for you.
And it's so your time,
we're entering into, we all are, and me personally, man, I feel like I'm being rewarded right now. Let me tell you. So
well, you deserve it, every bit of it.
Well, it's interesting because I hear there's two words that I hear that I actually don't quite know how I respond to. Deserve is one, and inspire is another. You know, you hear that all the time. Oh my God, you're so inspiring. Is it? And what I want to say to that is, you know, the word inspire actually means in spirit, if you break it apart. And then in spirit, what is that? If I can actually move someone in spirit, have someone take an action, then that's a true inspiration. Rather than just seeing it, you know, for face value and going, oh my God, that's so good. And so I think kind of the same along the line of deserve. What do we really deserve in life? I mean, do we deserve it? Or is it something that we work to, you know, be able to accept? I don't know. It's kind of, it's just an I always play with stuff like that to say, you know, the work is always the underbelly of all of these beautiful things.
Wow. Like I find your spirit, your attitude, and that of Erin's and your daughters and Katie's, it's motivating. Like I feel like I keep moving forward. I'm telling other people to move forward. But when I hear somebody with a story where they've made the decision, it's not like life told you to do this. You had to decide for yourself. Each of you had to decide, I'm going to do something different with my life. And you did the work. You're doing the work.
Right.
That's motivating.
It's a daily decision too. Yeah. Every day you decide.
It is a daily decision. That is a really, really, really important key thing to highlight. It is a daily decision. You have to wake up each and every day and remind yourself of what you're doing, why you're doing, and how you're going to do it. And the one thing that and I said this to Erin over and over and over, we will never ask, why did this happen to us? We will ask how. How can we better it? How can we become better human beings and, you know, figure out what we're going to do with it? I really had to for it to make sense to me, you know, that this wasn't just some random thing that came and, you know, kind of takes you out of the game of life. There's got to be a reason for that. And so, but you have to create that reason. And so that's really what core
that's
is.
Huge. Laquita, but that's,
and the work.
That's so huge. And that's the whole basis on which this podcast was formed, to keep people moving ahead, to keep people running for their lives, or, you know, walking through the desert for their lives, or rolling for their lives, those that are in wheelchairs, and people who are listening who are fighting so many battles, whether it's within or whether it's with children, spouses, themselves. People listening are fighting so many demons, and here you come. And really all you did was, all right, so you had 2 kids, which is amazing in and of itself. Don't get me wrong. Motherhood should be, you know, celebrated and rewarded, but you were dealt a hand of shit. I mean, absolute shite, as they say in the UK. And you're saying, you know what? It's a daily decision, and we keep moving forward. And what an honor that you would take the time out of your day to share your lessons with the people who are listening, because I guarantee people tune in, not just for the watercress question, although it's gaining popularity, I will say. Shannon is the brains behind this operation, but what an incredible testimonial to your own inner spirit, where you were in your own depths of hell, fighting yourself. You pulled yourself out of a ditch, literally. And then you're like, screw this. We're going to make the most of this. You started this foundation. You're now getting a bigger platform, and you took your time to talk to us. We are so grateful that you did that. And I just want to make sure that I say thank you, because what valuable lessons you've given us on this podcast. I mean, just your own thoughts, I mean, should be printed on t-shirts or stamped on me particularly, like on my forehead and on Shannon. Shannon has a really big forehead, so we should stamp it on her forehead. But I mean, your lessons are absolutely amazing, and for you to pass those along, I think there's so much value to other parents who are listening. And the lesson is, don't give up. Like, don't you dare give up. Like, don't you dare give up. What an absolute gem you are, Laquita. Wow, I'm just so impressed.
Thank you. I'm gonna wrap this by saying, you're thanking me for taking my time to talk and to share, and at the same time, I'm feeling the watercress, in that the watercress feeds you, and it's your, you know, if you ingest it in that way, and you feel its vibrancy. See, this is what you guys give to me, and anybody that hears something, or that gains something from what I have experienced, that's my watercress.
I love you. I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah,
I want you to be my mom.
We loved Aaron so much, but it's so easy to see where he gets his loving spirit from.
You need to be commended over and over. Not that Aaron was cool, but you just took it up a notch. Like, I'm sorry, Aaron, if he's listening, but I mean, you just took it up a notch. I mean, you can see exactly where he gets it from, because you have blown my mind, just your spirit alone. I mean, because everybody has challenges that they are fighting, and you're sitting there saying, so what? You know what? Get up out of the ditch and get your shit together, people. You got stuff to do.
That's exactly right. Get the hell up.
That's all.
And do not give yourself any kind of break. I'm not kidding you. You got to put your own boot behind yourself, and not accept anything less. It's just not okay. It really is not, unless you're destined to a life of mediocrity, and that too is a decision.
No.
I love you. I need to ask you a question. It's that time of the podcast. It's actually a joke question, and it's Shannon's favorite joke. She actually pays me $5 a month to ask our guests this. In Canada money, it's like $600. So it's a knock joke, actually, and I'd like for you to start, if that's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Knock.
Go. Who's there?
Oh, I'm supposed to come up with a joke?
I don't know. We just like to ask people and see if anybody can figure out the right answer. There is no answer.
What's the right answer? I'm here.
That's all we need, Laquita. That's all we need. It's just funny to hear other people go, wait a minute, wait, what? Huh?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, well, here's one. One. I am here. The hat. I am here.
That hat. I'm just saying, I pay double.
Right.
We have it on record now. It's going to be public. But seriously, thank you so much for taking the time out and just sharing your life experience with us. I mean, your lessons. This is, I think, going to be the first podcast that I'll go back and listen to after we share it, Shannon.
Oh, yeah. No, it's been wonderful talking to you.
Wow. Yeah, and will you come back and let us know as your platform gets bigger and bigger? Will you come back on with us and share with us how things are going?
You betcha. You absolutely. Yes. And anybody out there that might be listening, that please reach out to me. I am so available to for this kind of work. Oh my goodness, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. This is a pleasure. You're like what we call in the South the gravy.
the gravy. Oh yeah. It's the pig's belly or something like. I don't know.
Melissa and I are just so grateful to have this platform, but to be able to share stories of ordinary people who are doing extraordinary things. And that's what you and Aaron and Ariel and Katie are doing. I mean, you're just normal people with like an extraordinary story. So thank you so much.
That's exactly right. You are so welcome. I'm honored and privileged that you reached out to me, and I thank you.
Oh, I love it. I want you to be my mom. I'll call you. Call me. No, really, thank you so much, and pass along our love to Aaron and Katie, and Tell him we said hey. I did send him an email again, asking about that hat. But anyway.
Okay. All right. And I look forward to, I look forward to listening to the podcast too that you have. So
his is gonna, we're going to post his, and then back to back. Yours is going to be the very next one, so that people can kind of hear his story and then get the behind the scenes. But what an incredible viewpoint you've given us. And we really we really appreciate it. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
You're so welcome. And likewise. Right back to you.
Okay. Have a great night.
Laquita.
Thanks, Laquita.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
That was awesome. That was awesome. To everyone listening out there.
Holy crap.
I hope you take as much away from that as possible. I mean, currently, like, dealing with divorce, and my kids are 8 and 5. They're young, and sometimes, you're like, oh, how are we ever going to get through this? And it's, I mean,
just wait till they're teenagers.
Yeah, I know.
But
just like, even if your child is not injured, I think you can walk away from this episode with hope, with motivation, with just something, a takeaway.
She's amazing.
Something. I know she is amazing. And that whole family's amazing. I mean, I'm sure it sounds to some of you listening that we're always like kissing butt and blowing smoke up.
That's you. You're an ass kisser. I know that about you.
I am a huge ass kisser. I love it. But it just,
that sounded so wrong.
I'm sorry, Mom.
Oh, man. You kiss your mother with that mouth?
We love that people take the time to come on and talk to us and share their stories, because it's not, to bring up emotional, heavy stuff, but we truly do take something away personally from each guest that we have, and we hope that you do too. But what Laquita had to say and the way she said it, just, when I climb into bed tonight, I'm going to be thinking long and hard about what she said. And
I see you're affected by it. Yeah. She, she spoke to my heart on several different things. And I just think as a mother, especially when, just 4 teenagers, that's all I got to say. There are days I climb into bed and just like, oh my God, shoot me, and there are other days where I just feel like, we did good today. But I mean, she gives you hope. I mean, and she dealt with the very worst. I mean, and her alcoholism landed her in jail. And truly, when you watch the documentary, she was in a ditch and she had to wake up out of her stupor to catch a bus and to make that decision. And she actively makes that decision every day. And if you take nothing else away from this podcast, then I think it's that every single minute of every day. And I'm still reminded of the guest we've yet to have on, Kevin. And Kevin knows who we are on Twitter. Mm-hmm. You make that decision to not fuck it up every minute of every day. It is an absolute decision. For me, it's fighting food sometimes every minute of every day. Do not order Taco Bell or eat that fudge that I just bought, or it's a decision that you make no matter what struggle you're fighting, alcoholism, divorce, exercise, just anything.
Yeah.
She took it all and she said, why do I want to look back and regret this? Yeah. Why? For what? What an amazing woman. I'm moved by her. I'm really moved by her.
One of the big takeaways from her is that not asking why. I found, like, in my own therapeutic experience with depression and anxiety, I was stuck in this cycle of why? Why am I like this? Why
doesn't matter?
And I wasn't getting anywhere. It didn't matter. When I stopped asking why and started asking, okay, this is the way it is. How do I get through it? That's when things started to change. And we can probably record an episode sometime soon where we talk about the why versus how, that sort of thing. But
that's like cognitive behavioral therapy. Just do mindful thinking.
I spent so much time in cognitive behavioral therapy, and and again, it's a decision every day not to let that why creep back in, to focus on the how, to focus on keep moving forward. Yeah. And so many of our listeners just keep moving forward, 1 minute at a time, 1 hour, 1 day.
There is peace in every step.
Yeah.
And every step takes you a little bit closer. Yeah. What an amazing woman.
Yeah. And all of you for listening.
All 6 of you. Thank you.
No, I mean, I look at our stats, and we'll be able to compete with Lewis Howes and all of them. So
we're better than Louis. Hello. Yo, word.
Robbins. And I mean, I love you guys, but we'll get there. But as long as I think we reach somebody and give them something to think about,
if we can reach one person,
satisfied. I feel successful in that.
Absolutely. If we can take one person, I know our episode with Corey and Logan, it will be amazing too. But I mean, if we can reach one person through each episode, and one person says, I didn't give up because I heard Laquita on your podcast and she didn't give up and her son was all but dead. What an amazing power we have and an obligation to spread that word. So Shannon, thank you for helping me doing that. You are the best co-host, and your head is freakishly small, but it's absolutely beautiful.
And thank you, Melissa, for being willing to try ketchup chips. They're Canadian delicacy. I don't understand why you don't feel the ketchup chip love. But I just want to shout out to Lay's Canada. Maybe we keep them in Canada for a reason, because you Americans just don't understand.
Trump doesn't deserve ketchup chips. Actually, maybe he does deserve ketchup chips.
No, it's going to build a wall to keep the ketchup chips out, and we're okay with that. But Melissa, thank you for working with me to create this podcast, this platform to reach people and to encourage people to just keep running for their lives.
Keep running for your life. You know what? I love that. I love you too. I just need to go hug somebody.
I know. I'm
going to go to the supermarket and just hug like the meat market guy.
Just random stranger.
Yeah. Like
everybody, before we just bore you to death with our rambling about chips and watercress. Although you may look at watercress differently now after what Laquita had to say.
She was awesome. It still tastes like ass. But anyway, sorry, Laquita.
Yeah, but ketchup chips taste better, just so you know. Anyway, so we're going to sign off for tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. We look forward to hearing your comments, your feedback. Find us on Facebook, on Instagram. We'll get Twitter up and running sometime soon. Keep running for your life.
Keep running, guys. There is no looking back.